Hello, and welcome to Japan Lyric Room. In this program, we savor the lyrics of Japanese songs, explaining the meanings behind the phrases and the unique Japanese cultural backgrounds in an easy-to-understand way. I am so delighted you've joined us in the room today.
It's wonderful to be here. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Me too. We have a fascinating exploration ahead of us. Usually when you think about savoring lyrics, you might imagine a slow ballad or maybe a folk song.
Right, something where the words are really front and center.
Exactly. But today we're doing something a little bit different. We're turning our attention to a track that is, for lack of a better word, pure adrenaline.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is chaotic. It's incredibly fast. And yeah, on the surface, it just sounds like a massive party anthem.
Yeah.
But, and this is why we're here, when you actually stop and read the text, it is surprisingly dense with history. A very rich text.
We are talking about the song Sho in Japanese by the artist Ado. And for context, if you were anywhere near Japan or just on the internet in late 2023, you pretty much couldn't escape this song.
Oh, not at all. It was the theme for Universal Studios, Japan's Halloween Horror Nights.
And it just exploded.
It was everywhere. It triggered this huge social phenomenon. You had the zombie dance, crowds of people screaming the lyrics. It was a genuine frenzy.
And the music itself, it's a collaboration with Giga and Teddy Lloyd, right?
It is. They took this heavy EDM foundation and just injected these elements of Indian music into it. It has this exotic, almost trance-like high BPM energy that just grabs you.
And then you have Otto's voice on top of it all. I feel like shape-shifting is the only way to describe what she does.
That's a great word for it.
She drops into this growling bass that sounds like a totally different person, then flips to these dizzying high-speed shouts. It feels like she's dragging you onto a dance floor where, the laws of physics are glitching out.
I think that's a perfect description. The whole theme of the song is adios to reason. It's about suspending logic. A declaration that for this one night, we're just abandoning rationality.
Letting instinct take over.
Exactly. But what's so brilliant is that she describes this very modern, neon-soaked rave using vocabulary that is deeply rooted in ancient Japanese tradition.
And that contrast is what we're going to unpack. We've picked out 7 specific phrases that really showcase this collision of the ancient and the hypermodern. So let's start with the first one. It centers around a word that might sound a little familiar to people. Kabuke.
Yes, and the line in the song uses this powerful imperative. The cultural nuance here is be eccentric, act flashy, and break through the limits.
Be eccentric. Okay, so I hear kabuke, and my brain immediately goes to kabuki theater. The white makeup, elaborate stages, all of that. Is there a connection?
There is a direct connection, but maybe not in the way you'd think. Kabuke, or the verb kabuku, is actually the etymological origin of the word kabuki.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But before it was this high art form, protected by the government, kabuku was actually street slang.
Street slang, so it wasn't always so-called high culture?
Not at all. If we go back to the Edo period, kabuku meant to tilt or to lean away from the norm. It was used to describe the kabuki-mono, the rebels, the fashion leaders.
The punks.
The street punks of the 1600s, exactly. These were people in outrageous, flashy kimonos, wild hairstyles, who basically walked around town saying, I do not fit in your box.
That is such a cool image. So before kabuki became a classic, it was counterculture.
Precisely. The punk rock of the samurai era. So when Ado screams kabuki in this song, she's not telling you to go act in a traditional play.
Right.
She's channeling that original raw energy. She's saying, be a freak, be wild, don't worry about what everyone thinks.
And she pairs that with the word furakiru.
She does. And furakiru is a very modern verb, meaning to shake off or break through, like a needle going off the gauge. So you have kabuki, this Edo period rebellion, smashed together with a modern phrase for just going all out.
So it's an invitation to become a modern-day kabuki-mono?
It is. And it fits perfectly because the song is inviting you to be a zombie, a monster, something other than your normal self. It's an invitation to step out of line.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So let's move to the second phrase. This one. It kind of shifts the vibe. It's a bit more atmospheric, but then she immediately clashes it with gaming language. We have the words yoi and complete.
This is a fantastic example of her lyrical texture. The cultural nuance is complete the night from dusk till dawn, all right.
Let's stop on that first word, yoi. Just the sound of it is soft.
It is. Yoi is an ancient, poetic Japanese word. It doesn't just mean nighttime. It specifically refers to that magical transition from sunset until the darkness really settles in.
Oh, I see.
It implies the evening is gathering around you. It's the kind of word you'd find in, 1,000-year-old poems.
It paints this very quiet, specific picture, and then in the same breath, she just says complete.
Right. Complete. It's harsh, it's English, it's digital. We use complete for, what, finishing a mission in a video game.
Or downloading a file. It feels like such a deliberate clash, like oil and water.
It absolutely is. She takes yoi, this organic, atmospheric tradition idea, and she completes it like a quest objective. The traditional Japanese evening becomes a digital party venue.
It's like a cyberpunk tea ceremony.
That's a vivid way to put it, but yes, that's exactly the hybrid feeling she creates. It kind of disorients you, which, again, fits that theme of losing your reason.
Speaking of clearing things out, this third phrase feels a lot more aggressive. The lyrics include the word Garando, which just sounds heavy.
Garando.
Yeah.
It does have a heavy, almost hollow sound. The cultural nuance for this one is, it's our turn now. The empty hollows were weeded out long ago.
Empty hollows. So Garando means emptiness.
It does. Originally, it described the massive empty halls of temple buildings. Just imagine a giant wooden structure with nothing inside, just echoing space.
Okay.
Over time, the meaning shifted to describe anything that's hollow or empty on the inside, including people.
Ouch. So she's looking at the competition, or maybe the old guard, and calling them empty temples.
Essentially, yes. It's a declaration of a generational shift. The lyrics are saying the hollow elements, people without substance, maybe outdated ideas, have already been dealt with. It's very confident.
And there's some tricky wordplay in this line too, isn't there? About time.
Good listening. Yes. She uses the phrase,
Toku no to. I love the sound of that. It just bounces.
it's playful emphasis, long ago or already.
So she's saying long ago, long ago.
Pretty much, yeah. By repeating it, it's not just, oh, that ended a while back. It's more like, that has been over for ages. It's cold. It really highlights the sharpness in her vocals.
That confidence is just palpable. It feels like she's standing on a stage looking down on everyone, which actually transitions us perfectly to the fourth phrase, because now we're literally on top of something terrifying.
We are. This is one of the most visual and provocative lines in the whole song.
The line mentions a guillotine, specifically being on top of one. And the key word is Notamau.
Yes. The cultural nuance here is, on top of the guillotine where they preach, go wild and be magnificent.
Okay, wait. On top of the guillotine where they preach, that's a terrifying image. But let's look at that word Notamau. Where does that fit in with levels of politeness in Japanese?
So Notamau is fascinating. It's what you'd call a supreme honorific. Historically, you would only use this verb for the actions of a god, an emperor, or the highest nobility.
So a normal person can't Notamau.
Effectively, no. And that's the irony. In modern Japanese, if you use Notamau to describe a regular person, you're being incredibly sarcastic. You're mocking them for acting self-important.
I see. So it's like saying, oh, listen to him proclaim his divine wisdom while you're rolling your eyes.
Exactly that. So she's painting this picture of someone on a guillotine, literally about to die, but they're preaching to the crowd like they're a god.
It creates this punk aesthetic. The situation is desperate, the blade is right there, but instead of begging, you're arrogant. You're behaving with the dignity of an emperor while facing death.
So hardcore. Shine beautifully, even when the axe is falling. And it fits the Halloween theme perfectly, right? Dancing in the face of death.
It really does. Wow, okay, moving to the fifth phrase, we get another mix of opposites. We have Hannari and Hasso Tobi.
Yes, another beautiful contradiction. The cultural nuance is, be elegant, yet lead across the limits, just as your heart dictates.
Let's break those down. First, Hannari. I've heard that word associated with Kyoto.
Yes, Hannari is quintessentially Kyoto. It means elegant, refined, gorgeous, but in a very specific way. It's not flashy gold bling. It's more like the brightness of a high-class kimono or the graceful movement of a tea master.
Okay, a soft, sophisticated splendor.
Exactly.
And what's the second key word there?
The second concept is Hasso Kobi. This refers to the 8-boat jump. It's a legendary feat from the samurai warrior Minamoto no Yoshitsune. The story says that during a fierce battle, he escaped by jumping across 8 different ships in full armor.
That is quite a contrast. On one hand, Hannari, this quiet, refined elegance. On the other, Hasso Tobi, this superhuman, athletic violence.
And the phrase demands both at once. It says, maintain your cool, your Hannari beauty, but physically explode with movement. Be elegant, but be limitless.
It feels like that's a symbol for Otto's voice itself. She has that incredible control, but she leaps all over the scale.
It really does. She reconstructs that traditional Hannari aesthetic, but delivers it with this acrobatic rhythm, like a warrior in a sea battle.
We're definitely seeing a pattern of traditional weaponry meets modern music. Which brings us to phrase 6. This one sounds dangerous. A snake belly blade and being double-edged.
Yes, this is where the song gets sharp and deceptive. The cultural nuance is a blade like a snake's belly, a double-edged sword that deceives.
Snake belly blade. That sounds like something out of an anime. The key word is Jabaraba.
It fits perfectly. Jabaraba refers to a weapon often called a whip sword or a snake sword. Imagine a sword blade that's segmented. One moment it's solid, the next it extends and bends like a metal whip.
So it attacks from unexpected angles.
Exactly. And this has to be a metaphor for her voice. Just like the sword changes shape to bypass your defense, her voice changes texture, pitch, character. The scat singing in this part of the song mimics those unpredictable whip-like strikes.
You think you know where the melody is going and then snap, it hits you from the side.
Precisely. And then she adds Namaiba.
Which means double-edged.
It does.
Yeah.
Literally a blade that cuts both ways.
Yeah.
But in a human context, it implies someone with two faces, a dangerous, deceptive charm.
So she's warning us, this song is seductive, but it's a trap.
It toys with you. It lures you in with that Hannari elegance we just talked about, and then strikes with the Jabaraba unpredictability.
Yeah.
It's thrilling because it's dangerous.
I love that. Okay, we have one last main phrase to look at. Number 7. This feels like the philosophical conclusion of the whole track. The phrase is Issai Gassai.
This is the release. The cultural nuance for this is forget absolutely everything and shout it out.
It's really satisfying to say, Issai Gassai.
It's got a great bounce to it, right?
Yeah.
Issai Gassai is a 4-character idiom that actually comes from Buddhist terminology. It means absolutely everything, the whole lot, every single thing, without exception.
It sounds total.
It is absolute.
Yeah.
But the instruction is to forget it all. Forget your stress, your job, your social status, and coming back to our theme, forget your reason.
It is the ultimate reset button.
It is. It's total release. Abandon everything that binds you to the real world and just shout until your throat is dry. It's the core message of a festival, really. In Japan, a matsuri is a sacred time where normal rules don't apply. You have to empty yourself out to let the celebration in.
It's such a cathartic message.
It's permission to disconnect and go wild.
Now, before we wrap up, I know you found a few extra gem words hiding in there. We can't do a full analysis of each, but let's just sprinkle them in. You call them luxurious words.
Yes, the song is just dripping with this rich, almost excessive vocabulary. I wanted to highlight 4 quick ones that really support this worldview of opulence and chaos.
Let's hear them.
First, there's Dokdanjo. This means a solo stage or a monopoly field. It's a place where only that person can perform. It's auto-claiming the entire space.
Right. This is my house.
Exactly. Then there's Teppen no Onari. Teppen is the peak, the summit. But Onari is a very formal, high-class word for the arrival of a ruler. So it's like saying, the queen has arrived at the absolute summit.
That seems incredibly majestic. What's next?
Kenran Goka. This is the ultimate expression of luxury. Dazzling brilliance and gorgeous splendor. Think of a golden palace filled with light.
Okay, and the last one.
Ruran Oka. This refers to cherry blossoms blooming in a wild, chaotic profusion. It represents that Japanese aesthetic of burning one's life force to dance beautifully, just for a fleeting moment.
Wow, just hearing those words, it paints such a vivid picture of color and chaos.
It does. It creates a world that is visually overwhelming.
So if we step back and look at this whole song, all these different pieces, from zombies and Edo period punks to Buddhist terms and EDM, what's the synthesis? How does it all come together?
I think if you put it all in a blender, Sho is this massive cultural mixer. It blends 3 things. The chic or iki of the Edo period, rebellion and style. The void or emptiness of Buddhism, the idea of letting go. And then the high-energy modern EDM sound.
That's a combination that really shouldn't work on paper.
It shouldn't, but it does, because Otto's superhuman voice is the glue. She sublimates all of it into this Halloween frenzy. The song enjoys the poison and the playfulness hidden behind these beautiful Japanese words.
It's about shedding all your bindings and just dancing.
That's it. It captures the ultimate soul of a festival, a sacred time where normal rules don't apply. It's smart, it's historical, but ultimately it just wants you to move.
That's a beautiful way to close our analysis. It completely changes how I'm going to hear this song next time. It's not just a party track, it's a history lesson on a guillotine.
That's certainly one way to put it.
Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you spending this time with us here in the Japan Lyric Room. We pick up various Japanese songs and update our website with detailed explanations, much like the one you heard today. If you want to savor the lyrics more deeply, please do check the link in the description to visit our website. If you liked this program, we'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to the channel or follow us. It really does help us keep the lights on in the room. And finally, if you have any thoughts on today's exploration, or if there's a song you're dying for us to look at, please let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. Until we meet again for another session, this was Japan Lyric Room. See you next time.